Hello and welcome to WHSH TV. I'm Claire Guthrie and with me is Stephen Mason. Stephen, it's our first newscast of the year. WHSH TV is finally back and with a new cast and crew.
After dealing with snow delays and scheduling changes, WHS TV is finally off and running.
We have a lot of news to cover. Coming up for you on today's show, we will talk with Washington Community Schools Superintendent Dr. Daniel Roach about how the schools are dealing with I-STEP issues.
Also, you'll hear about some fun and important fundraising events going on at North Elementary that you're sure to be a part of.
All that and much more. It's Thursday, January 28th, and you're watching WHSH TV. Welcome to WHSH TV, a weekly newscast broadcast live from Washington High School. Typically, we broadcast live every Friday, giving you your local news and weather. As the semester goes forward, you, the viewer, will get to see the many faces and make new newscasts possible. It takes an impressive team to make all of this happen, and you might be surprised to learn that we are all high school students. From interviews to camera work, editing news clips, and working every behind-the-scenes position, sophomores, juniors, and seniors make up the WHSH TV news team. To begin the year's newscast, we take a closer local look into the issues surrounding Indiana's I-STEP testing. Every spring, Indiana students in grades 3 through 8 and high school 10th graders are required to take the I-STEP. This year, I-STEP test results statewide are considerably lower than normal. With averages for the I-STEP below previous years, concerns were raised for officials inside Washington community schools as well as around the state. We spoke with WCS Superintendent Dr. Daniel Roach about how these results affect local schools and why this year's test results were lower than last year's.
This is a situation that is really 3 years in the making. There was a large movement approximately 3 years ago nationally to change academic standards, and that was based upon efforts by governors throughout the United States to create what they called the Common Core. Indiana thought possibly that was the direction we were moving. The state was put on in a holding pattern, not really certain where we were going to go. Would we adopt those standards or would we do something entirely different? Ultimately, as we entered last year, Indiana adopted what was called the Indiana Academic Standards. In fact, it's 85% Common Core. You can call it what you want, but that's really what it is. It's essentially Common Core under a different label. Our teachers then had to prepare for a test that was yet unseen by C.T. McGraw-Hill. The test looked quite different than the former test that was basically a recall type of a test itself and comprehension and so forth, in that it required greater knowledge of computer skills and how to manipulate computer screens, that had to have a different level of thinking and so forth. The teachers did not see that until just a few weeks prior to the test itself. There was also a time period where everyone was very concerned about the time frame itself for the test and would it take 12 hours. Everyone was at quite a disadvantage because of that. And what we are seeing now is the result of just a great deal of uncertainty over a period of approximately 18 months. There has been some thought that possibly the state should just simply take a look at an off-the-shelf test that's already created. One of the things that they have to keep in mind, however, is while the United States Congress has recently reauthorized ESEA, which is the Elementary Secondary Education Act of 1965. It used to be called No Child Left Behind, and many of the components of No Child Left Behind took away local control and state control from the schools. They are reversing that direction. That's a very positive thing for the schools, but my thought is if we're going to find a new test, it still needs to be consistent statewide, because we know that there is an accountability element, and it's a little difficult to compare one school from another if you're looking at a variety of tests to choose from. I-STEP is just a snapshot in time. It really is only one component of what happens within the school and within the classroom. And I do believe that what they need to do is revert back to what the original intent of testing was, and that's to help adjust instruction and to move accordingly. But I think we need to de-emphasize the test itself, and it shouldn't become punitive or whatever the case might be when we're looking at teachers and their evaluations and their salary increases.
Washington Community Schools scores fell as a whole compared to the previous years due to the new testing methods. To get a more specialized look at how ISTEP scores affected Washington Junior High, WHSH sat down with Principal Mark Arnold.
Results from last year, we didn't do as well as we wanted to. It's something that a lot of schools experienced because of some of the issues with ISTEP. So we weren't happy with it, regardless of the problems they had with the ISTEP. We would really like to have done much better. So here, particularly at the 7th and 8th grade level, I feel like we've cheated some kids out of courses that aren't deemed to be that important, like vocational courses, whether it be our wood shop, whether it be our home economics, whether it be some elective courses that we offered to get into some languages and things like that. I think I would like to see a test that allows us a little more flexibility in what is tested, so that we can try to do the best for the population of students that we have here in Washington, and not be compared to all the other different corporations that have completely different demographics than our own. You take a school district like ours, and a lot throughout the state that have high numbers in those categories, high numbers of EL students, high numbers of free and reduced lunch and poverty, and high numbers of at-risk special education students. It certainly is a challenge. I think there has to be a better alternative. Again, I think that the standards that they use are good. I think we all understand that we need to be able to teach kids to think better and solve multiple step equations, and we certainly need to use technology in there. But at the same time, we are creating tests, high stakes tests, that are not only high stakes for our teachers, but for our students. And for many of our students, this test is not really indicative of what their skills are. We're trying to jam one test into all kinds of learners, and I don't think it works.
The purpose of the ISTEP Plus program is to measure student achievements in math, science, social studies, and language arts. Just over half of all students passed both language arts and math sections in last year's ISTEP. That is down from 75% who passed the previous year's sections. Moving on to some more positive education news, here at WHS we have the opportunity to gain relationships with local businesses through classes or student clubs. But one class stands out the most. The CEO class here at Washington High School not only teaches students how to form professional relationships with other businesses, but also encourages entrepreneurships. The CEO class is not directly supported through WHS, so funding comes from the businesses the class has formed with relationships with. WHSH TV had the opportunity to speak with the teacher of the CEO class, Mr. Turner, about the class.
CEO stands for Creating Entrepreneurial Opportunities. It is a class that the students receive 2 hours of credit that meets before school in the morning. We do not meet in the classroom, we meet in local businesses, and the intent is to have them get a more of a hands-on approach of entrepreneurship. Throughout the course of the year, we will visit 70+ businesses and have over 50 guest speakers. So in essence, our community, the entire county of Daviess County, is our learning environment, and all those business owners within the county are our teachers.
The CEO class recently held a dinner for local businesses as a way to raise funds. Another group using the food to raise funds is the Washington baseball team. The Washington boys baseball team held their annual pancake breakfast this past Saturday to immense success. We spoke with Booster President Maria Bedwell about experience with the fundraiser and why she enjoys doing it.
No, there's been past presidents that have been running it. This is my 4th year to run it. I plan on continuing to run it for a while, and it's just a fun event, and it's fun to be around the kids and the community, and of course all the parents in the back, and of course the ball players.
Bedwell also stated that the $4,100 profit generated from 501 pancake meals will go to purchasing new equipment and other baseball-related items. Coming up after the break, Stephen Mason will have a quick look at your upcoming forecast, and stay tuned for the second half with sports. You're watching WHSH TV.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
We're back on this brisk January afternoon. The skies have finally started to clear up after a few weeks of cloudy weather. Temps for today and tomorrow are running pretty close to average. Tonight's conditions will be great to come out to senior night during the girls' game. As you see, we have mostly sunny skies with a high of 47 for this afternoon. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 27. Friday, mostly sunny with a high of 42. Friday night, mostly clear with a low of 34. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 54. And on the other side, Saturday night, mostly cloudy with a low of 44. Sunday, with a 40% chance of rain with a high of 58. Sunday night, 50% chance of showers with a low of 46. And Monday, rounding out the forecast with 40% chance of rain and a high of 53.
Heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly. Tiana gave her pet the royal treatment. Belle found beauty where no one else did. And you can too. Share your heart. Share your love. Bring home your forever friend. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to WHSH TV. Last week, we had the opportunity to talk with the principal of North Elementary, Mr. Jay Wildman, about their fundraiser to help raise money for new playground equipment. The school is using the website GoFundMe as a way to make it easier for the public to donate. Some of the playground equipment is 25 years old and in dire need of replacement. The goal of the GoFundMe page is $18,000, and the improvement of this equipment can begin as soon as the money is provided.
Had a lot of use over the years, and some parts that have been breaking, and our PTO felt like it was time to start replacing or adding to our playground, so we have plenty for our students to use. The school was remodeled in 1990, so the playground equipment was added at that time, so approximately 25 years old. We have set up a GoFundMe page, and then we've had a large donor who's willing to help out with quite a bit of the cost of the equipment, and we're trying to match that to get to our total that we need for the playground. The goal for GoFundMe, or the part that we need to raise, is about $18,000. Right now, the parts that we're looking at are a slide. It's a series of slides, actually 3 slides, and some climbing apparatus that the students can climb around on. We are hoping to be able to wrap up the fundraising this spring, and we might not be able to do all of the parts at one time, but some of it will start this spring, and then we'll continue fundraising if we don't get all of it, so that until we get everything funded. But once we give the company the go-ahead, they've told us that it won't be long before it's installed. So sometime this spring, hopefully, we'll have some of it installed. We just appreciate everyone's help that has donated so far, and if anyone else out there is willing to go to the GoFundMe page and donate, that would be great.
North Elementary needs your help to raise money for their new playground. Again, you can donate going to their GoFundMe.com and searching for North Elementary PTO Playground Fund. Any donations will help this cause. North Elementary is also hosting the very first trivia night to raise money for new technology. Their library and classrooms, WHSH TV spoke with organizer Randi Browning about what guests can enjoy in addition to the trivia.
The trivia night is January the 30th. The doors open at 5 o'clock and the competition starts at 5:30. There will be free food. We will have raffles. You can buy tickets for the raffle and eat as much as you would like.
Teams will be separated by kindergarten through 6th grade with a $25 fee per team. 7th grade through adult will be $100 per team. Prizes range from cash for adults and gift cards for children. Prizes will be awarded to the top 3 teams. Everyone is welcome for a small fee of $5 at the door. Trivia night is Saturday, January 25th at 5 p.m. Speaking of events happening locally, this weekend it's homecoming this Friday at WHS, and the weekend has been our goal. High schools asked students about all their time favorite Spirit Day themes. Check out their responses on the week's hallway beat with JJ Brown.
Well, it would have to be pajama day, so I don't have to wake up and put my regular clothes on. I can just come to school and be lazy.
My overall favorite Spirit Day would probably be black and gold because the whole school comes together and shows our school pride.
Probably sports shirt day because everybody has a favorite sport team that they like to promote, so that's probably my favorite day.
If I had to pick one, I'd probably say Jersey Day. Flag Up Day.
Black and Gold Day.
Stay tuned after the break for a look at Hatchet Sports and a preview of Friday's homecoming game. You're watching WHSH TV.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him opening his own clothing store at the age of 18? 1 in 138,000. Excited to be a part of pop culture, he packed for the big city. The odds of finding someone to invest in his vision? 1 in 4.5 million. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Austin Niehaus, and it's time for Hatchet Sports. Washington High School has had a very big week in sports, and we've had a big week ahead of us. To start off the week for girls basketball, they opened up against the second-rate team in 1A, Vincent Gervais, and suffered a tough loss by 8 last Thursday night. The Lady Hatchets went on to beat the Boonville Pioneers 52-37 this past Saturday. In the final week of the regular season this week, Lady Hatchets traveled to Mitchell Tuesday night and were complete control of the game as they cruised to a 31-19 win. And they also played Owen Valley at the Hatch House and also won. The JV tip-off for tonight is 6 p.m. And moving on to girls sectional coverage, Monday night the IHSAA girls sectional pairings were released in Indianapolis, and what will be one of the premier tournaments of the state. Washington Lady Hatchets will compete in the 3A girls basketball sectionals in Princeton. In round one, the Lady Hatchets open up against the reigning state champions, the Princeton Tigers, led by Jackie Young on Tuesday. Tip-off for the game is set for 6:30 p.m. Central Time. WHSH TV will provide its coverage as it happens on our YouTube channel. Just search WHSH Broadcasting on YouTube, and if you can't get to a computer to watch the game, WHSH Radio has got you covered. Just go to the TuneIn app on the smartphone and search WHSH Radio. Shifting gears to boys basketball, during the past week, the Hatchets played in a battle between the number 7 and 12 teams in 3A, the Pike Central Chargers, in front of a crowd of 4,000 people. They played very good. It came down to the wire as the Washington Hatchets played a tough game, but unfortunately they were too much for the Washington Hatchets to handle in the final few minutes of the game. And Colton Garland actually had 18 points and Connor Brown had 11. But as you can see in this free throw, that it came down to the wire, and the Pike Central Chargers came out with a W, 57-56. And they had a chance to tie the game, but it just did not happen. But homecoming is tomorrow night for the Hatchet House against Boonville. This week we had the opportunity to talk to the head coach, Gene Miller, about the homecoming matchup.
Boonville's basically a man-to-man off defensive team. So a lot of the teams that we've played have done that, but they do mix in some zones. We haven't seen a lot of zone defenses this year, but they will mix those up. A little 2-3 zone, a little 1-2-2 zone, as well as playing man-to-man. Offensively, they're basically a motion offensive team, run a lot of screens, and we've got some pretty good shooters.
Come out and support your Washington Hatchets tomorrow night at 6:30 at the Hatchet House. It's going to be a great game, and come support the homecoming. Also, in wrestling this past Saturday, the boys had their conference meet at Mount Vernon and finished third behind Mount Vernon and Jasper. WHS had 2 wrestlers, Jake Wilson and Jake Owens, who were the top of their meet, and Cameron Mead was also named to the Big 8 conference team, while Jake Wilson finished second. And they placed very, very well, and that's about all for sports. I'm Austin Niehaus here on WHSH. That's all for the sports wrap-up.
Dad is picturing a tree house in the sky, but he's ignoring the instructions. Good luck, big guy. His kids know that he's building without a clue. Never been so good with nails and glue. Now we're trapped inside a box. I hope Mom knows what to do. Mom! See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I've just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
I'm Clara Guthrie. Thank you for watching WHSH TV, and please tune in next week.